take a look at other stories because final year students across the country will from next Monday begin writing their basic education certificate examinations, which will determine whether or not they can progress to the senior high school level. Well, the Sashieme Basic School was the worst performing school in the Keta municipality of the Volta region last year. None of the candidates who sat for last year's exams got grades good enough to progress to the senior high school level. Joy News' Joseph Opoku-Gakpo visited the school to explore what caused the problem and what can change going into this year's exams.
BECE pass rates in the Keta municipality have been declining over the years. In 2010, only 56% of students who sat for the exams had between aggregate 6 and 30. The pass rate has been hovering around 45 to 48% between 2011 and 2014, but recorded an all-time low of 36% last year. 4 schools recorded a pass rate of 0%, including the Sashieme Basic School, which presented 26 candidates. Per the standards of rural communities here in the Volta region, this school, the Sashieme Basic School, is actually one of those with the best infrastructure that you would find. Adequate numbers of school blocks, good classroom sizes, and adequate numbers of teachers. But out of the 89 schools in the entire district, this particular school came last when it comes to the rating when you look at the performance at the basic education certificate examination. The school actually scored 0%. What that means is that of all the candidates that were submitted for the exams, none of them got anything between aggregate 6 and aggregate 30. The headmaster of the school has been explaining what exactly has led to this problem.
I was surprised that my school got 0% this time. They were aiming at exam of practice to get a PO for their exam. So because of that, they misbehave. They were indisciplined. They don't listen to teachers. When I organize instructors for them, they will not come.
Municipal Education Director Raphael Kojo-Kwashi describes the situation as an irony because the school has one of the best educational facilities in the country.
We have adequate infrastructure and the teachers are also adequate. There is school feeding program here. So why then the poor performance? Majority of the concerns have been on the role the parents have failed to play as stakeholders to uplift education. And then the school children themselves, they were very boisterous, they were smoking weed, they were disrespectful, they were assaulting teachers. And we realized that that could be the main reason for the poor performance.
The teachers at the school blame poor attitude of students for the problem. Francis Boku is an English teacher.
The students themselves are not serious because sometimes you organize class for them to come free of charge. They don't come. And I can easily also blame my teachers. Some of the teachers don't report to school early.
The current batch of final year students here agree poor student attitude contributed to the poor performance. They are promising to do better.
They were unrespect to the teachers. They liked smoking too much. They don't take the advice of the teachers. Those are the causes. As for my batch, we are trying to change the 0% to 100%.
So that I read my books and learn hard and respect my teachers. I'll make sure that I'm in first position.
The education director outlines ongoing measures to improve upon performance this year.
Strengthen supervision. So we are empowering our secretary supervisors and the supervision department of the directorate. We are also retraining the heads.
School authorities remain confident a turnaround will be seen this year. For Joy News, Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, Keta Municipality.
Well, that's not all because the Keta Municipal Chief Executive, Sylvester Tonyava, blames the situation on a poor foundation at the lower levels. He says in the long term, the Assembly will strengthen kindergarten education to guarantee better performance.
Yeah, actually, education is the mainstay of the people of Anglong. And since 2009, when I assumed office, We had a stakeholders conference at Lone to look at the development challenges of the municipality. And prominent in the discussion was the falling side of education and the need for all of us to join hands to arrest it. We identified the poverty level of the people because what happened in the 50s, 60s, 70s was because fishing activities, economic activities were flourishing, and our parents were able to educate our people. And because of the effect of the tidal waves and also the construction of the Volta Dam, which has actually reduced economic life of the people, education was badly affected. So one of the things we looked at was to establish Annual Education Fund to raise some money to support education. Last year, we had a worst performance of 36%. That has actually generated a lot of concern. We embarked on a program to visit about 22 low-performing schools to meet all the stakeholders, to look at how best we can revert this unfortunate situation. That will collect the views of the people. We are hoping that by April, the final year should have done 2 mock exams. And then in May, we will assemble examiners and the subject teachers to take them through the exams that they have done and then prepare them for the exam. But our concern is not for students to pass exam. They should know what they are doing. So the root cause, which we have identified as the foundation, which is very, very weak, needs to be looked at. And the Assembly is investing in KG education so that the foundation is good. And by the time the children reach class 3 to class 4, they would have known what they are in for. And by JHS, they should be ready for examination.
So we can expect a turnaround in this school. For example, we are told it's the worst performing school as far as last year's results are concerned. And it's quite interesting because they appear to have relatively better infrastructure.
That is the irony. That is the irony. The whole country, apart from maybe the metropolitan and municipal assemblies, Keta is considered as having the best educational infrastructure. You hardly can see a school under tree in Keta municipality because in the last 7 years we have actually invested in educational infrastructure. But this is not being reciprocated in terms of results. So we are looking at the role that the students, the people themselves, the parents, and then the teachers should be playing. If government should pay salaries to teachers, government should construct school buildings only for students to go and then get 0%. It is so disincentive for government to continue investing. And the president is building 200 community secondary schools because of these children. And if they should not pass, then these facilities will be empty. So the Assembly, Keta Municipal Assembly is so much concerned. And we hope to reverse that. The sign will show from this year's results and will continue.
And that's Sylvester Tonyava. He is the Municipal Chief Executive for Keta. And education at that basic level is not the only thing the people of the Volta region are struggling with.